My guest today, Jeanette Lynne, is a young performing songwriter in the folk pop style. Among other accomplishments, she was a finalist in the Philadelphia Songwriter Project Contest, the UEA Chester County Songwriter Competition, and competed in the We Are Indie Music Conference, Songwriter Showdown in Knoxville, Tennessee. Michael Fieri said of my guest, he's from the agency Magma, I guess you'd say. If my copy of your latest album was in 1987 cassette tape, it would be overused, worn, patched up, and wrapped up with a smile. Her CD, You Got Me, was produced and engineered by Glenn Barrett, Grammy Award-winning producer and engineer. Welcome, Jeanette.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
No problem.
I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about how long you've been songwriting and performing.
Well, I started writing songs when I was about 17. And once I had my own songs, I was really giddy to get out and start doing open mics and just get out and start playing for people, even though I was really shy. So it's been about 8 years now. I've been playing shows around the tri-state area around here, and I'm starting to branch out, trying to get into Canada a little bit and trying to go a little farther south, and where maybe it's warmer in the summer. Too warm, but yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have you do one of your songs.
Sounds good. So I'm going to play you a song off my first album. It's about being in a long-distance relationship, and you tend to feel what the other person's feeling in that situation. The song's called When I Cry. There are so many ways I could hurt you, babe. You should know that by now. When it hurts you, it hurts me too. 'Cause when I cry, you cry, we both die inside. We're killing each other this way. It's your fault, no my fault. We both fall apart. We're driving each other crazy. Yeah, you drive me crazy. Stars come out at night, all blue and white. I don't wanna fight, 'cause you're always right. You're always right. And when I cry, you cry, we both die inside. We're killing each other this way. It's your fault, no my fault. We both fall apart. We're driving each other crazy. Yeah, you drive me crazy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 'Cause when I cry, you cry, we both die inside. We're killing each other this way.
Jeanette, that was a nice song. Now, was that from personal experience?
Yes.
Well, they say write what you know.
Exactly.
Our songwriting topic today are influences, and my Skype guest, we're going to hear a little bit later, has been performing, Jamie Anderson, and she's been performing for quite a number of years. So I thought it would be interesting to see what differences there might be in your influences or the same.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you to say a few of your influences and why, and how they've influenced either your songwriting or your performing or both.
I've been a fan of Ingrid Michaelson, and I tend to like her lyrics are a little bit more witty, and they come from a sense of humor sometimes, even though her songs sound a little darker. So she's definitely been one of my influences. Colby Calais, she's a very upbeat artist, and she just speaks from her heart a lot about relationships and things, which I tend to write about because I feel the most connected to it emotionally when I'm writing, so it's just easier to come out. In the last 2 years, there's been two songwriters. Allison Weiss, she does more like rock punk kind of stuff, but the same voice as me, but just a little more rock and roll. But still talks from the same place in her heart. But over the years, Liz Longley, that I know you've interviewed with, she's definitely been one of my major influences, songwriting. I know she went to school for it, and I've picked apart some of her songs just like in awe, like inspiration. She inspires me every time I see her play. So
Jeanette, another tune.
Sure. This song is called Everything's Better, and it's going to be on my new album. It's a little upbeat acoustic number, so I'm going to play it for you. Could go wrong, I've got this angle that I'll be working on that long. I've got a reason for leaving like I do. I'll stop believing in fate and started following through. I'm making progress out here on my own, but I do better if I wasn't all alone. Cause you and me, yeah, we could be the talk of the town. Everywhere you look, you see people that were staring us down. Everything's better when you're around. I've got no worries as I step out into the world. I've got a love for my life and this beautiful girl, and for the music that got me through my teens, and for the strength that I gained from people who were mean to me. Cause you and me, yeah, we could be the talk of the town. Everywhere you look, you see people that were staring us down. Everything's better when you're around. When you're around.
Do you have a good mix of slow songs and fast songs, would you say?
Yeah, I try and keep it. During a show, there tends to be a lull sometimes if you stay in the same pocket, so it's nice to have a couple different variations.
And how long ago was it that you won the Philadelphia Songwriters?
I got to the finals.
Finals,
I'm definitely trying again this year, but it was about this time last year. Maybe March, I want to say.
Okay. We're going to have our Skype interview now.
Awesome.
And as I think I mentioned before, that person is Jamie Anderson. And she actually lived in Arizona for a number of years, in North Carolina. Now she's in Ottawa, Canada.
Oh.
And so that's where I talked to her. And so we're going to take a listen to Katie that right Curtis now. From Boston, who's a fine songwriter, said of my guest, Jamie takes the archetypical forms of folk music and storytelling and turns them on their heads. A fresh, in every sense, an original artist. Jamie Anderson has played her unique original songs in hundreds of venues in 4 countries, including 47 U.S. states and 3 Canadian provinces. Jamie's music has been featured on Good Morning America, the Dr. Demento radio show, NPR's Car Talk, and stations all over the world. Her latest CD is called Dare. Jamie, I want to welcome you to the show.
Glad to be here.
I'm really glad to have you. We met quite some time ago. You played in Philadelphia, the place that I booked. I'm going to ask you, in addition to the introduction I just gave, talk a little bit about how long you've been writing songs and how long you have been performing.
I started writing songs in the 80s, and I started performing when I left out of the womb, I think. I was that kid that was always taking dance lessons and all kinds of stuff. I taught myself to play the guitar when I was a teenager, and things just got out of control from there.
Topic today for songwriting is I wanted to ask you some of your influences. My other guest in the studio is a young songwriter, and I thought it'd be interesting to compare the two. Who are your influences? How do they influence you in terms of your songwriting, maybe even in your performing style?
Well, I was a big fan of the singer-songwriters of the 70s, like Joni Mitchell, Carly Simon, James Taylor. One of my first albums that I bought was Carole King's Tapestry, and I loved her songwriting and how she put a melody with her wonderful words. And then after I got out of high school, I discovered women's music, people like Meg Christian and Holly Near, and just fell in love with what they did. I love the storytelling aspects of what they did and the emotional content. I'm also a big fan of Steve Goodman. A lot of people know Steve because of the song that Arlo Guthrie made famous, but he was a very prolific songwriter beyond that. And even though I never got a chance to hear him live, I've seen clips of his performances on YouTube, and I really, really like his conversational style, and that he was a great musician and a lot of fun.
Okay, why don't you do a song for us?
Pink, vermilion, crimson, ruby, garnet, maroon, orange, magenta, fuchsia, mammals, roses, blue, taller than me, even on my toes, bright like her lipstick, most of her clothes, pink, vermilion, crimson, ruby, garnet, maroon, orange, magenta, fuchsia, mammals, roses, blooms. Against a desert sky of watercolor blue, no matter how little it rained, mammals, roses grew, pink, vermilion, crimson, ruby, garnet, maroon, orange, magenta, fuchsia, mammals, roses, blue. of her. When I'm gone, don't mourn. Sing no songs in minor key. Just find a desert with roses and sing for my mama and me. Pink vermilion crimson, ruby garnet maroon.
Pretty song.
Thanks.
Was that on your last CD?
Yeah, it's on my newest one there.
And that came out, what, last year, was it? Or a year before? 13?
Came out in 2013, yeah.
Okay. Our performing topic today has to do with women performers. And I guess my first question would be, well, I'll put all the questions together. As far as the audience, do you feel that the audience has expectations that of you that they may not have of a male performer? Well, let's just start with that question, I guess.
Yeah, I think sometimes they don't know that I can play the guitar very well. I think that, we're so used to hearing what I call humminstrums. No disrespect intended to all those women out there, but and there are men that are like that too. But it's just assumed that women's the focus of their performance is their voice and maybe their songwriting, but not their guitar playing. So I've played for way too many sound guys who want to turn my guitar way down. And so I don't know if that's like the whole audience or just some of the sound guys I've worked with, but I find that rather frustrating. But also, there's songs that only women can sing. I have a song called Menopause Mambo that would sound pretty stupid if a guy sang it. So there is that element too.
How about people like that book venues and maybe radio DJs? Do you feel that they might treat you differently than they might for a male?
Sometimes I don't feel that often. Almost everyone treats me pretty fairly, but there is that occasional DJ or venue who treats me like, I'm really something different than the other, 3 male singer-songwriters he's booked, which, often isn't true. We write sometimes even similar kinds of songs and, have similar guitar styles and whatever. It's just because I'm a female that makes me different. I mean, I've heard people say, DJs say that they can't play a whole set of music by women, or people will think they've tuned into the women's music show. But, nobody ever plays a whole set of male singer-songwriters and thinks they tuned into the male singer-songwriter show, so that can be frustrating. But I found, really great support out there, more so these days. It was a lot harder for me in the beginning.
Okay. Jamie, let's have you do another song here.
Sure. This is a song that my Facebook friends helped me write. Oops, let me take off the capo. Say she makes all your dreams come true. She's funny and smart and loves all you do. You might pop the question, you'll say yes. Do you wonder why all your friends look distressed? We know she's pretty and you have lots of fun. But take our advice, run. Let us remind you of a few facts. She has 3 dogs and 38 cats. 3rd DUI and she's back in jail. You'll spend all your money on cat litter and bail. She hasn't worked since 2001. Take our advice, run. Remember the time that guy totaled your truck? She said, well, can't your sister pick you up? And you weren't even surprised or dismayed when all she wanted was pot for Valentine's Day. She has the 7 dwarfs tattooed on her bum. Take our advice, run. Listen to us now. We gotta let her go. Yeah, she's great in bed. Don't ask how we know. We've got a petition. It's signed by everyone. Tell her it's over and done. And run.
Was that a Dr. Demento song?
You know, I said it to him. I don't know if he's played it or not, but he certainly played my other goofy songs.
Before we go, let people know how they can learn about you, buy your CDs, so forth.
Sure. They can go to jamieanderson.com because I got the URL before that other Jamie Anderson, so I am not the snowboarder. You can also find me on Facebook at Jamie Anderson Ottawa and Jamie Anderson Music.
Okay, Jamie, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, bye-bye. I want to thank Jamie for being my Skype guest today, and definitely go to her website. Check out her recordings. I know you're going to like them a lot. Okay, Jeanette, I'm going to ask you to do another song for us.
Sounds good.
Okay.
This song was actually on my first album, and it might end up on my second one. Gonna take it in a new direction. It's about being down on your luck and hoping for good karma to come back around. It's called St. Anthony. Well, I was walking down the street a little slower than usual, tapping my feet to the beat of a song playing in my head, when I came across the words to the prayer to St. Anthony. I got down on my knees, saying, oh, please help me find my way. No, I'm not superstitious, but I believe in good luck. To the people who work hard every day, some think I'm too ambitious for that winning lottery ticket. I'd settle for a car that runs and love that won't fade away. Oh, all that I need is a little break here and there. And if you've got a dollar you could spare, St. Anthony. The dog sits in his cage. The wine is getting better with age. This room is a disaster. Think I'll clean it after I get some sleep. We all work too hard for the amount that we're paid. Come on and get on your knees, saying, oh, please help us find our way. No, I'm not superstitious, but I believe in good luck. To the people who work hard every day, some think I'm too ambitious for that winning lottery ticket. I'd settle for a car that runs and love that won't fade away. Whoa, all that I need little break here and there. And if you've got $1 you can spare, St. Anthony. Oh, all that I need is a little break here and there. And if you got $1 you could spare, St. Anthony.
Where did that song come from?
You know what? I was working at Target for a while, and I was just having a rough go working there for a whole week, and just they were messing with me. And I'm like, I'm working so hard, and I try very hard to be a good person. I don't see why some good karma or just anything couldn't come my way. And I remember my mom had told me about St. Anthony growing up whenever I'd lose something. And I felt at the time I'd lost my way. So I thought of my mom, and I thought of what she had told me about St. Anthony, helping you find your way back to things. And it just came out in 5 minutes. And my dad was listening in the next room. He's like, you sure had that down? That sounds good. So that's where that one came out of.
Okay. I want to talk about today's topic for performing as a female performer. And a couple of questions would be, in terms of the audience, do you ever feel that they have different expectations of you as a woman?
So far, it's actually felt pretty even, at least in the songwriter circles and places I've played. But it really depends where you're playing. So if I was playing at a bar, playing cover songs for a few hours, it's a little bit different. They want to hear you sing everything from the top of the mountain to the bottom. And but from a songwriter point of view, I've felt pretty open and accepted right away.
Do you find that you have any, as a woman, unique performing techniques that a man might not do?
Well, sometimes range can come into it. But a man, I've heard men sing higher than me, so I can't say that overall. But just I think you can almost get away with certain topics too. Like some people wouldn't want to sit and listen to a guy sing about his relationship for an hour.
Right.
Not saying they'd really want to listen to a girl either, but you can get away with it a little bit more.
Okay. And as far as like, I know you book some of your own shows and you have somebody helping you.
Yeah.
Any issues with people that book venues in terms of being a woman?
It comes down to, again, like which kind of show you're playing, because I'll do shows for money and I'll do shows for my own music to promote. And when it comes down for the ones for money on like a Friday night, it becomes a thing where I've had some situations where I've gotten ripped off and people just I don't know, offer too much help with carrying equipment and things little things like that. They just treat you a certain different way. So it's been a little bit of a struggle in that department.
Okay, that's interesting. Your last song.
I'm gonna finish out here with one of the first songs I ever put on YouTube, and it was on my first album. It's called Love and You. Well, love, what is it to you? 'Cause what you put me through, it doesn't feel like love. And lost without you here. All the roads have disappeared that have led to loving you. Yeah, loving you. Because loving you was perfect together like a warm sweater on a chilly afternoon. And loving you was supposed to be a package deal, but the deal fell through. Just leave, 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 leave me on the edge of my seat. Every day and night, all I do is cry. And all this hope, hope, hope I was saving for a rainy day. Spend it all in one place, on loving you. Yeah, loving you. Because loving you was perfect together like a warm sweater on a chilly afternoon. Yeah, loving you was supposed to be a package deal, but the deal fell through. Yeah, love, love, love. What is it to you? Because what you put me through doesn't feel like love. Yeah, lost, lost, lost. I'm lost without you here. All the roads have disappeared to loving you.
I like that song.
Thank you.
That's a really good, well put together song.
Appreciate it.
People want to learn about you, want to buy your CDs. How might they do that?
I have a website. It's JeanetteLynne.net. You can find info about everything. I put on my videos, all my upcoming shows, and all my songs from my last album, and links to get everything. All there.
And you have your YouTube channel. Is that correct?
You can either just search Jeanette Lynne or youtube.com/JeanetteRocks.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about next show before we go. Our guest next week is Megan Carey. I did a previous show for 3 years, and Megan was one of my guests. She's very, very good. She earned Billboard magazine's esteemed Critics' Choice for Best Newcomer for her debut, New Shoes. That was the name of her album. As I mentioned, she was on my previous show. And my Skype guest that week is a woman from, I think, the West, somewhere in the West. I forget where, Arizona or something like that. Her name is Cherish Tuttle. And her music, I guess, could be called contemporary pop, a little bit of folk thrown in, I think. She sang in a number of bands, and which you have too. You sang in a band, correct?
Yeah.
Do you still do?
We're taking a little hiatus.
Yeah.
So who knows?
And let's see. Now she has sung in front of 100 people and also 28,000 people.
All right.
So yeah. So that's Cherish Tuttle, and then again Megan Carey will be right here in the studio. Thank you, Jeanette.
Thanks for having me.
A very good luck in your music career. I think you have a good chance.
Thanks.
Okay. And we'll be back in a couple weeks.